We were having a discussion a couple days ago about one of the things that helped cement. I mean, we've always been friends with Sade, but I think one of the things that really cemented it, weirdly enough, was when we did the Anna Musings episode on the Three Caballeros, and we all found we all have all of us. I think our favorite caballero is Jose.
Yes,
so.
That bonded us weirdly. Like now we just
we have in jokes now about
the Three Caballeros.
The Three Caballeros.
That's a good episode. I like that episode a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I'm always glad that we have that. We now have that running joke about the Araquan bird. And hey, Future David, whatever you do, don't put the God damn it, Future David! God, why? That's an Anna Musings gag, not a UCA gag. Why did you put that in here?
Welcome to Under Araquan.
Underquan analysis.
Undercooked Araquan analysis.
Yeah.
There we go.
Today we're here to talk about only the Araquan bird.
No.
Yes, that's the show now.
Actually, we're it's funny because we have Eli and Kylie with us from Cinema Nippon and Animal Fact Files.
Hello.
And we just did an Anna Musings with them.
We did, but it's been a hot minute since they've been on UCA. So
True.
So let's throw them now into another Disney thing.
Yeah.
Fair.
I love talking about Disney. I'm fine with that.
Awesome.
Wonderful. Yeah, you know us. We're never done. It's bad. We actually just earlier this morning watched a documentary or a sort of mini documentary online that reminded us how much of a dick Walt Disney actually is. So
Yeah.
He's also understanding that like apparently if you disagreed with him and you were part of the animation strike, he called you a commie.
Oh
That
my.
Makes sense. Yeah.
He was very anti-communist, but that's probably because a lot of people around him said, "Walt, you know what's bad? Commies.
Yeah.
They're against hard work and all this other bullshit."
Jesus. Yeah. I would not want to work for that guy. I honestly, do I appreciate what he's done? Yes. I would never want to work for him.
I'm glad he's dead. No.
Oh!
So I don't have to work for him.
You don't. Yikes.
I mean, to be fair, after everything that I've read about Miyazaki, I wouldn't want to work for him either.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
No.
We get
I mean, I don't think he's like where Walt was like kind of like, I don't even know how do you put it, like, because I don't want to say mean.
No, Walt wasn't mean either.
Walt was more of a hard ass.
That's the best way to describe him.
That's Miyazaki. Like, and I just feel like I would not have a good quality of life working underneath your teachings.
Oh no, yeah.
That's why, well, we're gonna, later on for Anna Musings, we're gonna discuss Studio Ghibli as a whole. So it's not just, it won't just be Miyazaki, it'll be other works as well. Yeah, we get to talk about, Grave of the Fireflies.
Do we have to talk
yes,
about
we
Grave
do.
of the Fireflies?
Yes, we do, David.
Every time this comes up, I'm always like, I can't. I already watched that movie twice.
Yeah,
That was, twice was
is
enough.
once too many.
Twice is enough for a lifetime. I could probably just tell you, hey, you want to know about Grave of the Fireflies? It's fucking sad.
Well, look on the bright side. At least the rest of the other movies are actually pretty good, and then not.
Yeah, and Grave of the Fireflies is a good movie. It's just fucking sad.
But
Yeah.
and it's not. It's like we still have to deal with Home on the Range, and we still have to watch.
And you know what's weird? I'm dreading Home on the Range less than less than I dread Chicken Little.
Oh yeah,
I was about to say, do you want to talk about Chicken Little?
we don't.
I hate that movie.
We don't have anyone-
Talk about Chicken Little.
Funny enough, there's
What was that about Chicken Little?
I'll do Chicken Little.
Oh my god!
I will.
You're gonna drag me on to literally one of my least favorite movies.
No, all of you guys outsource it to me. I will do it on my own. Because nobody wants to do it.
So today we have your host Eli and our guest Eli.
Here's the weird part, so we have a guest for every single movie up until Treasure Planet, and then there's this weird lull period. We don't have anyone for Brother Bear. We don't have anyone for Home on the Range. No one for Chicken Little. No one for Meet the Robinsons. Surprisingly, we do have someone for Bolt, but then no one for Princess and the Frog. And it's up until by July 2021, when Tangled comes around, then we start getting a slew of guests again. But it's I don't know, for the past year or so, we've had a guest on almost
every single episode.
And now there's this weird little period where people are like, no.
If you're hurting for guests, I will happily talk about any of those movies that you mentioned.
Especially Chicken Little. I know it's your favorite.
I have seen all of them at least once.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. I've not. There was a huge. I haven't seen any of the movies in that period between Chicken Little and Princess and the Frog. I think Princess and the Frog was the last one I saw. Was when I actually watched a Disney movie again after that long spell.
I've seen Brother Bear. I've seen Home on the Range and Chicken Little. I haven't seen Meet the Robinsons or Bolt.
Neither have I. I haven't seen any of those.
Meet the Robinsons is awesome.
I've heard it's good. I've heard it's really good. And
it's so good.
Bolt's okay. I mean, it's not bad. It's not great.
It's cute.
Well, the person that we have on for Bolt is Andrew Lindy, who I'm not surprised to join on because Andrew Lindy has interesting tastes in movies. Not interesting. He has good taste, but he sees movies as like, this is great. He's a very positive person when it comes to all movies.
We
reviewed Dumbo, the remake, and he's like, well, I'm like, I swear to God, Andrew.
Oh.
If you want to hear about that, we were on an episode of Nothing New with he and Justin Keys on talking about the 1941 Dumbo and the 2019 Dumbo, and it was a fun time. Even if I regret never seeing that $5 I spent to see Dumbo 2019.
David and I have joked about us we spent $5 each to see Dumbo 2019. That was a waste.
That was $5 too many.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wasted.
Yeah, they should have paid you $5.
I should be recompensated for my time.
Yeah.
We kind of were, though, because we had a great time talking about it.
It was fun talking about it. But the fact that Andrew is like, well, I think, and I'm like, you could tell, he starts talking positively. I'm like, dang it, Andrew, this is also the same guy who said, I actually really liked Escape from Tomorrow. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Oh, boy.
I love him, but dang.
Yeah. Hey, but since we're on the topic of Disney, why don't we talk about why we're covering this story today on Animusings or not Animusings? Wow. Okay, we've been talking about Animusings so much. I've just now diverted what this podcast is all about. Okay, gotta remember.
Wrong podcast.
So
this is a podcast where I don't have to be PG, so fuck shit, damn motherfuckers from hell, damn it. We're gonna talk about the Q line, which was submitted anonymously for our DisneyPasta Challenge writing contest we had at the end of last year.
Yes.
And the author who reached out to us and asked us if we could critique the story, and this was not one of the ones that won. It was among the entries, and I remember reading it and before, but I think it having gotten that request and wanting to honor that request, I think we can do this one again.
Mm-hmm. And they said they wanted to remain anonymous, and we will
honor that.
Yeah. So this isn't like we don't know who it is.
But we wanted to but having Eli and Kylie here means we have a fresh set of eyes to kind of help evaluate this story and maybe why it did or what did work and what didn't work about it. Because I think I'll say this from my initial reaction to it was huh?
Yeah, I was a bit confused by it when I read this story, but again, I was also reading this in a row with a bunch of other stories.
Now we're reading it in a vacuum, so we'll see how this goes. So, hey, Anonymous, thank you for your submission. Hopefully this will be helpful. But we're again, as we are us, and we're gonna try not to pull any punches.
Yeah.
But I'm also too nice, and I don't.
but I like the fact we got two fresh set of eyes who have never read this before, have no preconceived notions. So.
Yeah, I don't even know who wrote it. They are anonymous to me.
Yeah, it was definitely not me. I wish you could see the look she just gave me. There was like a half second of like, wait.
What the fuck?
And then the realization that no.
So, okay. So, because we're tackling this more like let's actually legitimately edit this. Are we gonna? How do you want to do that? Do you still want to go paragraph by paragraph?
Or, I think still paragraph by paragraph, and
okay.
If something's
off, we should note it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all. Like, not maybe noted in the story itself, but just talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The reason I ask is because sometimes when the story is like at the end, you're like, huh? Sometimes I feel like it's better to have the whole thing before trying to say like, oh, well, this part specifically is what's causing the confusion.
Right. And the thing is, I don't want to, well, we can talk about it more at the end, but I don't want to like ramble too much over certain things because sometimes we have a tendency to do that. We'll be like, this thing doesn't make sense in this one paragraph. Next paragraph will answer that. And we'll be like, oh, okay. So I'm trying to kind of get out of that habit.
With this, I think this one, while in the past with other UCAs, we'll ramble as we go and say like, oh, this. And then at the end, do a quick summary. I think at the end we'll probably do a more longer discussion of what works, what doesn't.
Yeah, but jokes are still allowed. Jokes are still allowed in the room.
Yes.
Hi, jokes.
Okay, good. But I wasn't going to stop.
Good.
Okay, good.
Don't let that stop it. Don't stop believing.
Do it, coward.
Do it, coward.
How long ago was the Disney challenge at this point? I don't.
These were submitted by July 15th, I believe.
Okay.
No. And then
we were looking at July. Yeah, it was July of last year.
And then we read them in October and then gave our winners at the end of October.
Okay, wow, that feels like it was a lot longer ago.
I know, really? It does.
Well, it didn't help. We were going to do it a lot sooner, but then all that nonsense with the YouTube channel came up, so...
Yeah.
So that's why it got put on hold. We were like, yeah, we'll do it. We'll get it out in like a month or two, and then, oh, well, shit. Although I knew it was going to be after August anyway, because we were getting married, too.
There was that, too, yeah.
Yeah. You had a lot going on last year.
Oh, yeah, that was a busy summer.
All right, well, that sounds good. I might take notes while we're going through and keep them to myself as a secret until the end.
It's a secret to everyone.
I like this. Okay. In that case, how should we read it? In what order?
Well, I would.
Me first. No,
okay. Yes. Do
All
Kylie.
Right, so Kylie, you're first. Let's do Kylie, then Eli, then you, Kaela, then me.
Perfect.
Okay, that sounds good.
All right. I hated cues.
Well, good
like
job.
Letter.
This is why you have to mind your P's and Q's. I also hate P's.
I don't know. I can get behind a solid T.
R is okay. I've
I
seen
like
better.
J.
I like K's. Because mine starts with K.
You're KK.
Yes, I am. I have a KK name. No.
We're both KKs.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right, Eli. Read.
All right. They're nice, sure, but they mostly remind me of how much my feet hurt. It doesn't help that most cues are disgustingly boring. Some are themed okay, but most are terrible, with the golden exception being Pirates of the Caribbean. However, I never liked that one either.
I hate cues. Pirates is okay, but I also still hate it.
Actually, so funny enough, I always thought the Disney cues were like really good, but
depends on the cue.
Yeah, but one of the most interesting ones so for Islands of Adventure, the theme park at in Florida.
Yeah.
The cues are boring and dull as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
But like the weirdest, I think one that shocked me, but their rides, however, are amazing. Like, so for example, the Spider-Man one, the queue line is boring. Like, there's just random ass desks around, and they're showing a Spider-Man cartoon trailer in the background, and you're like, what is this?
Because it's supposed to be like you're going through the Daily Bugle, right?
Yeah, but there's no, like, it's just desks. There's no, like, decoration or anything. Just, here's someone's desk and a chair. Like, with nothing on it.
There's no pictures of Spider-Man?
No!
And of course there's no pictures of Spider-Man. God damn it, Parker!
It's like they forgot to decorate it. And I mean, maybe it's changed since then, since I last went on, but I remember going, I'm like, what is this? Why is this so dull? And I was like, oh, God. But then the ride is fucking incredible. Like, it's like it's an amazing ride, like, full of, like, detail and, like, sensory, and I completely recommend it for those who have not been on it. Why the hell is the queue so boring? So, I mean, I think a queue line can, for rides like those, if it's going to be that good, make it fun. Like, if you, like, I still think my favorite one is the Harry Potter queue.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that is so interactive. That is, like, and then the ride itself is great. It's
my gosh.
It preps you. Like, it totally preps you. Like, oh, this is so cool. I'm so hyped. And then the ride makes it work. And
that ride blows my mind. Like, I don't understand how that ride is a thing.
No, I know. It's just
it doesn't make sense to my brain.
I've never read anything like it. It's quite incredible.
Yeah.
Sorry, I needed to go on my tangent on cues. Sorry.
It's got Dementors on gimbals. It scares me.
Oh,
the very first time I rode the ride.
Yeah.
Was horrifying. Anyway.
I think that I went on the one in Florida, and I think they were closer, and I think they had to back them up. But
Also, Universal is still that park. It's like, you know what's great? Spraying people with water. Doesn't matter what the situation is, there will be water that gets sprayed at you.
Yes.
It's like everyone thinks you're a cat, and they have the spray bottle at Universal.
Stop having fun. No.
Stop having fun. Disneyland's version was usually... Oh, sorry, that's you.
Yeah, go away.
Okay, bye.
Wow.
Disneyland's version was usually okay. My father was a minor animator at Disney, so he was usually able to get us through lines pretty quickly. Besides, most of Disneyland's queue was outside, as well as smaller and more cheerful.
I don't think minor animators get that kind of privilege at Disney.
Okay, here's the thing. Technically, no one gets that privilege, but, big but, when I was a Disney cast member, if you knew the people, they'd be like, go right in. Like, you have to know the people that work there. Or that are working the...
like, minor animators are one thing. I was just thinking, like, if Milk Call showed up, let's say back in the day, Milk Call showed up, it'd be go ahead, or Ollie Johnson, or Mark Davis, or,
we have a friend who's an Imagineer, and he doesn't have those privileges.
That's true. But maybe it happens. Maybe it's like, I just know a lot of cast members.
Yeah, but it doesn't say that. That's the thing. But I mean, in terms of story quality, we don't know that. We do, but like a normal person might not know that. They might think, oh yeah, a minor animator, because it could be believable, but in reality, it's more like do I know this person working the ride? Then they will let me in. Like I had I didn't know everybody who worked at Walt Disney World, but I had a friend who knew all the park people, like the people that worked the rides. So whenever I was with him, he would be like, we skipped the line, like every single time. But then again, this was the same person who says, I'm too pretty to wait in line. He actually said that, so. That's
fair. Well, that said, I mean, besides most of Disneyland's queue is outside, small. Okay, yeah. Okay. I do like the queue at Pirates at Disneyland. That one's fine.
Okay.
Am I ready for my big paragraph?
Yeah.
Disney Dash World, on the other hand, is a completely different story.
Disney Dash World.
Disney Dash World.
It's bigger than Disneyland's, with endless corridors made of dying brick. What is dying brick?
I think
crumbling brick?
I think it like old brick.
Okay.
I think that's the idea the author is trying to convey.
Yeah.
I legit thought it was a thing that I didn't know what it was, so it was a legitimate question. On slower nights, the place looks like the apocalypse had swept through it. Everything is covered in a pale yellow-orange glow. And because it's meant to be like a Spanish fort, things are lying around everywhere. Cannons, rope, and broken masts lean against the walls, abandoned. Furthermore, there are no cast members for the majority of it. Sure, they're there at the end to load you into your boat. However, for the most part, they leave you be. You're essentially alone to take in the atmosphere and the smell of the water nearby. Yeah, it's impressive. Oh, yeah, it's immersive, but it's also creepy as hell, especially for a kid. That's why my parents always forced me onto pirates. They loved messing with me. This tradition followed me into adulthood and leads me to a muggy day in mid-June.
Intro.
Okay, the one thing I think they should have mentioned, because there was a point where if you go up like the paragraph before that, or the couple paragraphs before it, it goes into we were able to get through the lines pretty quickly. Most of Disneyland's queue was outside. I it took me a while to realize, I'm like, what do they mean dying brick in terms of like Disney World as a whole? And then I realized, oh no, they're talking about Pirates of the Caribbean. I feel like that should have been reiterated a little bit.
I like the queue for Pirates of the Caribbean. I'm going to have to disagree with this character's perspective. I think that queue is great.
But you're not this character, so.
Okay, well, this character and I do not agree. Anyway.
I mean, I think it's right that there usually aren't any cast members on that queue.
No, they're completely right. There isn't that many, except when they load you in and out. They're not really around.
It is kind of eerie. I like when it's quiet, every so often you can actually hear like a little like Spanish flamenco guitar playing somewhere in the distance.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, specifically the one in Disney World. I have to say though, I've been to Disney World a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really remember waiting for that ride more than, gosh, I can't even remember waiting more than like 20 minutes. I mean, I'm sure I've seen the queue up to like 45 maybe, but that one never felt like it was a long wait.
The only time I think we waited in a long for the ride for a very long time but that was at during the Not So Scary Halloween. But the reason why is because they actually had actors.
That was fun. They had
queue.
pirate actors in the queue.
Oh, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's why everybody was like waiting in this line, like, "Ooh, we want to see the actor queue."
It was a bonus for sure, but I think the problem is less with the queue line for Pirates, which is really good, and more with Pirates itself, which is their version. The Florida version is definitely inferior to the Disneyland version, in my opinion. It's shorter and has a weirder flow. So yeah.
Yeah, I think the story does not convey through the ride.
Yeah, it's about the queue line.
Yeah, and it doesn't need to talk about
I'm just adding a little bit of color here. Fun fact, super quick. There was not originally going to be a Pirates of the Caribbean at Walt Disney World back when they were planning it. There was going to be a Pirates-esque attraction in Frontierland called the Western River Expedition, which never got built. And because people kept asking, hey, where's Pirates of the Caribbean? They were like, well, it's not coming in because we're going to build this Western River Expedition. People were like, but we want pirates. So they got a rushed version of Pirates.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I do like this description, though. Like, it does actually describe the queue line for the ride very well. I do like that.
Yeah.
Like,
well, it's funny that I like that. That's why my parents were forced me on the Pirates They Love because they're like, we like seeing you creeped out.
Yeah.
That's
parents do
that's
this.
shitty. All right.
That is totally a parent thing, though.
Yeah, it is.
It super is. All right, so we have a page break. So we're jumping into this mid-June muggy day.
Mm-hmm. I had just graduated, and as a Disney kid,
they're supposed
to. I had just graduated, and as a Disney kid, a trip to Disney World seemed ideal before I went abroad. Of course, we went through the rituals you might expect: eating 10 pounds of Dole Whip, trying to hit every roller coaster, and arguing about rides with my brother. After a few days into our trip, my dad finally dragged me onto Pirates of the Caribbean. Just me and him for old time's sake. I didn't blame him, as these father-daughter moments were only getting rarer. Besides, I had a headache, and the heat was evil.
It's evil.
No, being on an indoor water ride sounded nice, so I went with him. And as we entered the indoor part of the queue, he began joking with me like he had so long ago. I was thinking, it's freezing in there.
It's freezing.
I'm glad that they mentioned that.
Oh, yeah. That ride is always so cold.
Yeah, when you guys were talking about the queue, I was like, that's the one thing that I remember the most of the couple of times that we've gone, is that that's like the coldest place in the entire park.
It certainly feels that way sometimes.
Yeah.
I definitely remember that. And you're like, well, but it's supposed to be the Caribbean. And it's like, guys, you're already in the Caribbean. It's Florida. You're in Florida.
Yeah. I don't understand what the rituals are.
You know.
I think it's the idea of, like what tourists are usually expected to do at Walt Disney World, but this is a little...
Eating 10 pounds of Dole Whip is a ritual to summon to summon all the tiki room birds to do your bidding.
God, I wish...
I mean, I'd do it.
I'm okay with that, yeah.
Yeah, the problem is, I wish they would serve 10 pounds of Dole Whip.
I love the idea of eating 10 pounds of Dole Whip and then, like, clapping your hands together. Jose pops up and just goes, oh! Oh, why have you summoned me?
Actually, there is a hotel at Disney World. It's the
the
Polynesian resort.
Mm.
And whenever I got Dole Whip, I always went there because instead of just like, oh, here's your Dole Whip, they give you a cup and then you could put as much Dole Whip as you wanted in it.
What?
So, like, you pay for the cup.
And then you just can refill it with Dole Whip?
I don't know if this is still a thing, but if it still is, yeah.
Well, we all know the real best ride at best attraction at Walt Disney World is the place where you can try the soda from all over the world. At Club Cool at Epcot.
Tell somebody.
True.
Tell someone to try the Beverly and watch them.
No!
And watch them.
Don't put that evil on people. Stop perpetuating the cycle of violence. Just fucking stop it. Anyway.
I do have to say, for that specifically, I think it's better in stories like this not to use second person.
Like, don't say you and.
Mm-hmm. I think it would be better to put like
as one might expect.
One might expect.
Yeah.
I think that's a better option.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I think it's trying to be relatable, but I think eating 10 pounds of Dole Whip is not exactly. I mean, eating Dole Whip is one thing. It's hard to get 10 pounds of Dole Whip. I know they're trying to be, what's the word?
Like exaggerated.
Yeah, hyperbolic. But also arguing about rides with my brother, like about what? Like
arguing which ride we go on next. I feel like that could be made clear.
Yeah, that could be made clearer.
Or like which ones are the best?
Yeah, that's the thing. Just
the best ride is Space Mountain. No, the best ride is Splash Mountain.
You could say arguing which mountain is the best one. I think specifics would be key here.
Yeah.
Mountain is still my favorite.
Mountain is still.
I will say that every single time. Actually, someone worked that. I can't remember. Someone who submitted a story worked that into one of their things. They're just like, we just want to go on Mountain, and I know they took that from me talking about it in UCA before.
Mm-hmm.
Come to think of it, that wasn't the only reference. Anyway,
yeah.
Why don't you take this next paragraph?
You used to hate this ride. Remember, he asked Messley eating his third churro and getting it on his shirt.
Yes, Dad, I remember. Ryan, Uncle Zion, and especially Judith would always eat my ass over it. What?
Whoa.
It broke Eli.
Just randomly referencing eating ass is a surefire way to get me going. Wait, no, I'm sorry.
Whoa! It took me a second. I'm like,
Oh my god!
Man, you walked right into that.
I did.
Yes,
I'm
you
learning way
did.
too much about your marriage now. I mean,
They have a healthy love life, okay? I just killed Eli. I'm
No.
sorry.
I'm sorry. I understand what they were going for. That's just I feel like there have been a couple of times here where there's been just kind of awkward phrasing, and I feel like that's another example of it.
it's possible. I mean, it's possible. What's another way you could phrase that?
Oh, they would chew me out, or
they would.
I've definitely heard like chew my ass.
They'll
Like,
chew
yeah,
my
chew my
ass.
ass out.
Chew my ass would make more sense.
chew my ass out.
Chap my
and
ass.
I could definitely see that getting put in a Google Translate
yeah.
and getting turned into eat my
and
ass.
getting turned
Yeah.
into eat my ass.
I could see
Yeah.
that.
But we have
Could be totally wrong, but
we now have several characters now. So we have our protagonist. We have our dad. We have a Ryan, an Uncle Zion, and a Judith.
And we don't know who Ryan, Uncle Zion, and Judith are yet.
Yeah,
they love eating ass.
Yes.
they love eating ass apparently so much that they apparently always say like, "Hey, we think about Pirates of the Caribbean when we eat ass." Because yo ho, Pirates Life for me.
Language, Eliza. My father replied as we squished closer together. God, the crowds were insufferable.
I guess they couldn't get the line jump on this one.
Yeah, they're in the indoor part.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to figure out where they are in the sense of like on the queue. So I guess that queue is pretty spacious.
Yeah. You mean
Well,
like
Maybe
wide?
are they in the corridors at this point? Because maybe there's just a lot of
must be.
people in there. Because usually when there's a lot of people in there, the chatter echoes through the whole place.
It does.
Yeah.
they said they're in the indoor part of the queue, so they're in the corridors.
Yeah, they're in the fort.
What's going on?
They're in the Castillo at this point. Yeah.
Maybe they're looking down and seeing the skeleton.
Did David just say nya?
Nya.
Like a cat?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Yeah.
I didn't know David was a cat boy.
Yeah. It's either that. It's better than going ooh randomly. So.
Okay, this is just a nitpick, but if you put a name or a pronoun that is standing in for a name, you got to put a freaking comma before it.
Oh yeah.
Fair enough.
Language comma.
Language
Eliza.
comma.
Sorry, comma, Dad.
Stop clubbing baby seals versus stop clubbing baby seals.
Yes. Yes.
Commas are important.
Commas are important.
Commas are a very important part of English.
Yes. I think
That's just a nitpick, though.
No, that's fine. I was, there are minor little grammatical things that could be fixed up and punctuation things, but it's
right.
fair.
Who's next?
I think it's Eli.
Yes.
Me?
Yes. I just said language, Eliza.
Language, Kylie. Sorry, Dad, I replied. The music had seeped into my ears again. They had changed parts of it, but I could still hear parts of the original eerie guitar music as we walked down the line, like cattle waiting for slaughter.
Oh, my God.
Judith used to go on forever about this place, I continued, and Dad rolled his eyes.
Okay.
That's a dark way to describe.
You're really thinking about it that's a surprisingly dark way to think about it. You're just going on a boat to go see some pirates.
I think that's actually really good.
Yeah.
Because, they're talking about how much they hate this ride and, how they were forced onto it as a child. And, I'm totally behind that line. And, really not exaggerating the way the character feels about this ride.
That's true. And, I guess the whole idea was people line up for stuff just kind of mindlessly in a way,
Yeah.
No matter what they expect, they're standing in line, they're slowly shuffling forward. But I can definitely relate to the eerie guitar music because I did notice when I was there they changed the music, but every so often you'd hear that that guitar. Hey, future David, if you could find that little that Spanish guitar thing, even if it's a bad quality, can you put it in the background right here? Because I think it'd be really fitting. Cool, thank you for that.
Okay. Most of it she didn't know, my father replied. I mean, good lord, she acted as if she was sent from heavens to bestow Disney trivia upon thee.
Not funny, Dad, I replied, eyeing the bits and pieces of the queue. I swore that I saw a barrel fall over out of the corner of my eye. Judith always loved you, even if she was Uncle Zion's adopted daughter. Dad sighed and put a hand on my shoulder.
Okay, so
this feels a little bit like clunky exposition here.
Yeah. And I'm trying to figure out, Judith, Uncle Zion's adopted daughter. So if it's her uncle, I'm assuming Zion was
her dad's brother?
Probably.
So it's his...
Or brother-in-law.
Or brother-in-law, yeah. Or mom's brother. Oh.
That's the tricky part. Clearly it's a family. And even so, what does it matter if she's adopted or not?
Uncle Zion. Yeah. What was I going to say? Crap. Totally lost it. It's gone. But I have something else I can talk about. Oh, lost that one too. Hold on. There's a glare on my screen. I'm having a hard time.
It's okay. Chester's reflecting it on you.
He is.
It's bouncing off his...
Oh, that's what it was. So I was trying to, can we just have the conversation? Can we say, I'll be Eliza, David, you be Dad, and say what they say, a conversation to each other?
Okay, starting from the first one?
Yeah, just start with language, Eliza.
Okay. Language, Eliza.
Sorry, Dad. Judith used to go on forever about this place.
Most of it she didn't know. I mean, good lord, she acted as if she was sent from the heavens to bestow Disney trivia upon thee.
Okay, that was good. I was trying to get a feel for the flow of the conversation. I feel like most of it she didn't know. I'm not quite sure.
I think it's this part when she says, "Not funny, Dad." What?
We was sent from heaven. Well, okay, maybe there's going to be more.
Yeah.
I think I remember being
but
confused
this
even as this went on.
This one part is Judith always loved you, even if she was Uncle Zion's adopted daughter. What does that matter?
Why does that factor?
Why is that's okay.
But maybe we'll see. Maybe we'll see why that matters.
Yeah.
Who read last? Oh wait, that was. I think it was me. So it's back to
me.
Kylie.
Yep.
I get it. Is that? Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. And he paused and sighed again. I'm sorry. That was tasteless. Judith was a sweet girl. Poor thing was sick as a dog, though.
Oh, she's dead. Judith is dead.
She
did.
She did.
Yeah, so
that's what's going on. That's why he's like, it's tasteless. She probably died recently.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, did she die because of Disney trivia?
Probably because of Disney trivia on Pirates of the Caribbean.
She died because the Pirates of the Caribbean broke down and the pirates ate the tourists.
Yes. Precisely.
It finally happened.
Johnny Depp ate the tourists.
You can't do that, Johnny Depp animatronic. I'm not Johnny Depp. I'm Captain Jack Sparrow.
Yes.
Say it right, like everybody else on the ride. Every other pirate, Captain Jack Sparrow. I'm still mad.
You're salty.
that he got swapped out.
16 years later, or like 15 years, 16 years later, and I'm still mad.
Eli.
14 years. Sorry, I'm doing the math.
It's okay. She was getting better, Dad, I replied, about a quarter of the way into the queue. Occasionally, I tried to peek through windows that weren't real, and I kept looking for some sense of order. It didn't help that the humidity hadn't gone away, and that it felt like my head was stabbing itself. I pointed to a little stage area off to the left corner. You know, Judith always tried to climb up that thing. She said she wanted a pirate to sing with her.
Okay. They do have that little state, like there is those little wooden platforms you see in the queue that have like cannons, and you can see the cannons sticking out of gun ports. And I like that part because it's like, if you did go up there, you could see that the gun ports actually look out onto the like cove area where you board the boats and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Are you talking about the part that's like almost like a bridge that goes over top? Because there's two ways to get onto the boats.
Yeah, there's a couple different ones, but again, I've only been to Walt Disney World a couple times, and I haven't ridden Pirates that much. Usually when I'm there, I'm like, I want to ride the mansion again and again and again. How many opportunities am I going to have to get here and do this?
Yeah. I could definitely see this being part of the queue. Like, it's not like I remember it verbatim, you know. So I'm totally buying that.
Yeah, I remember that too. I'd take you over there with Uncle Zion and Judith. When the lines were really bad, Zion would put you on his shoulders and challenge you to squawk like a pirate. You nearly blew out my ears with your singing, Dad replied. I snickered and stole a bit of his churro. I sipped on my water bottle and finally feeling the sweat starting to go away. Yeah, Dad replied, rambling. That's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because it's like he's reminiscing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true.
Squawk like a pirate? Would squawk like a parrot work better? Because
I was wondering if that's what that was supposed to be.
Maybe that's what it was supposed to be.
I mean, if he's on his shoulders, that totally makes sense.
I've asked there. Yeah. The stage area was covered in a pale red light, and for a minute I thought I saw a young kid looking at me. They were young and alone. Then I thought I saw a man pick them up. But before I could check, there was nothing. I stuck closer to Dad. Are you seeing this out like the corner? You saw this for a solid minute? How literally do we take this? This is a little odd.
Wait, and for a minute. Oh.
This next paragraph is amazing, you guys.
Oh, God. Man, a lot of people have died in this family. I wish I had known them more, I replied, my breathing heavy and my gut sinking.
It's going down.
A lot of people have died. We've discussed one death, though.
Unless Uncle Zion died, too. I think that's the unspoken thing.
That could have been made clearer.
Maybe Ryan died, too.
Oh, shit.
Mm-hmm. Everybody who has a name in this story. Oh, except Eliza.
Yeah.
Eliza's going to die at the end of this, you know it, right?
Yeah. Eliza's going to die, so
I feel like...
Aww.
Did you just say that?
Yeah.
I approve.
I feel like it's trying to build tension, like with there's something weird going on with the barrel, and I'm seeing things out of the corner of my eye. But I agree that for a minute, that's like one of those phrases that I actually get onto Eli about using that as a phrase.
For a minute.
He'll be like, yeah, I'll be up in a minute. And I'm like, no, you won't. It's going to be at least 5.
Add character to your minute. In a New York minute, I saw...
I think what they mean is, for a moment, I thought I saw.
Yeah, I think and that would be a more appropriate word.
Yeah, I think so, too.
All right, let's press on.
It was their time, I guess, Dad said. Well, this company always said to keep a smile on my face. I remember how Walt smiled at me when I met him all those damn years ago. Crying shame he died a year later. Then again, maybe it's better he didn't see this modern world, Dad replied, scoffing.
Hold on.
As he went ahead in line.
How old is Dad?
When did this take place? Okay, Walt smiled at me when I met him all those damn years ago. So
when did I mean, this could be set anywhere, anytime.
Crying shame he died a year later. So this is Walt died in 1966. So he met
Walt in 65.
So
he could have been a kid or something.
No, well, because he's a minor animator. So
this company always said keep a smile. It definitely sounds like he's saying I met him while working for the company, which would indicate. I mean, he could have been like young.
So the dad's like in his 80s, 70s,
or this is taking place like 20 or 30 years ago.
Maybe,
but that's not explained.
But did they have Dole Whip They didn't have Dole Whip in the 80s.
Oh yeah, when did Dole Whip come about? Hold on.
So, I mean, this could be even like in the early 2000s or something, and this is a teenage daughter.
But that could have been explained a little better, you know what I mean?
Well, maybe it will be. Maybe it will be. Maybe we'll get something else that will give us a clue. Because, definitely, if the handkerchief is hanging from the guy's foot, that would be a clue.
Oh, yeah.
If Jack Sparrow is there or not there, that would be a clue, kind of, for the time frame. So let's press on and maybe see.
It says this tradition followed me into adulthood and leads me to a. So this woman's already an adult.
Yeah, this is looking back when she was 18, but I feel.
Well, but didn't she say at the beginning, I had just graduated? And
oh yeah, that's right.
Trip to Disney World seemed ideal before I went abroad. Okay. So either 18 or 21, maybe?
Yeah,
somewhere around there.
I'm just gonna say, Dole Whip was introduced sometime in 1986.
Oh really?
Okay, so it was. I mean, then I think
but then Dole Whip didn't get super huge. I feel like in the parks, the big sort of cultural we love Dole Whip until it was. The advent of the internet. So I don't know.
I feel like this should probably be explained.
This is Wikipedia. It says 10 years after Dole Whip or Dole Food Company took over from United Airlines as the sponsor of Walt Disney's Enchanted Tiki Room. So that would be 1996.
Okay, and then they would have really pushed it. They would have pushed the Dole Whip thing.
So it would have been. This could be early 2000s, and if that's the case, then the dad would be in his 50s, which is normal.
I love how we're identifying. We were able to kind of place this because of the use of the word Dole Whip. This is incredible. Yeah. There's some detective work that goes into figuring this story out, which actually, I think as I'm rereading this, maybe it's smarter than we anticipated.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, all those damn years ago, right?
Yeah.
Was that was your paragraph?
Also, what a weird.
That was me. Yeah.
What a weird thing to bring up.
Shame he
Walt.
didn't see this modern world. Well, again, I feel like some of the exposition is a little clunky.
Yeah.
Just in general, the conversation doesn't feel terribly organic.
Mm-mm.
But
or maybe he would have adapted. I mean, he was a futurist. I replied.
Yeah, futurists with a low tolerance for the stupid virus. I mean, good Lord, have you seen the people in New York? He went on. I felt my cheeks go red with shame. What? What does that mean?
I don't know.
Does he hate New Yorkers?
Just everyone from New York.
Everyone from New York is stupid, and Walt would have looked at New York and been, they're stupid, and then he would have fallen off a cliff.
You're dumb. They have a virus for dumbness.
We thawed out Walt's head, and we took it to New York. He went, well, you can freeze me again. I'd rather go back to being cryogenically frozen.
I will say that this person is doing a really good job of explaining who is talking.
There is that. That does help. Sometimes it's hard to identify who's talking.
Mm-hmm. So I've definitely been able to follow. I know who is saying what, and I appreciate that because that is not always present in short stories.
That's true. I am able to follow who's saying what too as well. Who's next?
My turn.
Okay.
All people want is to be themselves without the government assaulting them every 5 minutes, I replied.
Eliza checks her watch. Oh shit! Suddenly people jump through the queue. Time for your 5-minute assault. We're the government.
That's what I was thinking. I really hate my every 5-minute assault. It's like clockwork.
I don't have a watch. I just kind of got good at intuiting when the government's going to show up to assault me.
Yes. Hey, for the record, I support y'all fine. My therapist is gay, and he thinks they should be more private about it, too. And who's always right? Dad asked me, squeezing my hand tightly.
Oh, my God.
I sighed and said...
What is happening? Hold on.
You are. So
Eliza is gay, is what we're getting here, right?
Yeah.
And I guess...
Okay.
And her dad is...
He's one of those shitty people who's saying, I have gay friends, so I get to have an opinion that gay marriage is wrong.
That's what it sounds like.
That's what it sounds like to me.
It does. And you know what? That's not weird. I mean, it's just, it's worded awkwardly, like a couple things, but I get it. It's like, okay, and the government assaulting, you know what? What if this is around when, like, Proposition 8 was a big deal?
Yeah, that could be it. It doesn't say it. But...
Gay marriage isn't legal yet.
No.
Here. Universally.
Not yet at this. I mean, it is in America now.
It is now. I'm saying then. I'm saying in the context of the story. Like, again, I'm thinking late 90s to early 2000s. Probably early 2000s.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is any time before 2015. Well, I don't know when it was legalized in California, or Florida for this sake, but it's not saying where the family lives, so I don't know at that point.
It sounds like they go to Disney World more often than they go to Disneyland, though. Just the impression I'm getting.
And he is a minor animator.
He still works for Disney, I guess?
He has not retired.
He is not retired. He's still there.
But there are animators in Florida. Maybe he's a minor animator in Florida.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. That's a...
So I guess the people in New York are gay people?
The stupid virus. Oh. The
stupid virus? And then the people in New York, is that...
Oh my God, is he thinking about Rent?
Oh my God.
I'm just trying... I'm trying to understand, like, how talking about all our family members dying correlates to...
Got us here.
I'm gay? Like...
Dad, stop talking about all of them, and then Walt... And then somehow talking about Walt led to it's not okay to be gay.
Yeah, was Walt Disney openly homophobic?
I mean, that was...
Walt was a good Christian man, if that's what you're asking.
Okay, yeah. So not openly, but like...
No.
So
remember, Walt's the kind of guy who accuses animators who struck against him of being commies. So.
Right,
yeah.
Right.
I think when Dad says earlier, then again, maybe it's better he didn't see this modern world. I think Dad is... talking about gayness.
Yeah.
Well, Eliza's trying to divert it by saying, but he was a futurist. Like, he would have been optimistic. But he's like, yeah, but everyone's stupid. And maybe Eliza sees this. He's not saying it directly, but she sees it like, oh, are you saying gay people are the stupid virus? Like, Dad.
Yeah.
Stop being a conservative dad and come on.
I think if we read the next paragraph, too, because I read a little bit ahead, I think that's going to clear some stuff up. So
yeah, let's
keep
reading.
Who's always right? Okay, yeah. So I think that's your paragraph, Kaela. They're there.
They're there, Eliza. He said, releasing my hand. You and your gayisms will beat me in a debate one day. Randy thought that too. Who's Randy?
I don't know.
That was not a name brought up.
I don't know.
He replied,
Randy's new.
I stopped, slowly crawling through the line. I heard the name before, but it had certainly been a hot minute. The lights grew dimmer, and my head was pounding so loud I could almost hear my ears ringing. The stone bricks in the walls were growing more rotted. I'm trying to figure out that. More rotted, and through one of the dungeons, I saw two skeletons playing chess. I could swear one of them was looking at me.
So the heat like the AC is apparently broken, or that, or she's just dealing with the like anxiety of being in the pirates queue.
Well,
And
it
it's
has
getting-
been a hot minute.
Minutes.
It has been a hot minute. It doesn't help that meanwhile her dad is talking very loudly about how it's not okay to be gay, apparently.
Even though
Hashtag relatable, am I right?
yeah.
Why? Why are the lights dimmer and the head pounding and ears ringing? The ears are not ringing; they're almost ringing.
I'm thinking all of that is gonna be like the twist or like the reveal at the end as to why she's feeling that way, unless it's just she's uncomfortable because of her memories of this place.
I mean, I could see that. Okay,
I think it's one of those two.
I'm a little confused, but I want to like finish it before I say like, oh, this doesn't make any sense.
Okay,
I will say there is a place where there are skeletons playing chess. Like,
there's definitely that. That's actually what's fun about that. I'm going to pull another bit of Disney trivia. That's a Mark Davis gag that worked its way in. If you look at the way the pieces are arranged on the board, it's a stalemate. The game cannot continue to be played.
Oh,
There's no winning
cute.
move anymore.
That's cute.
I knew that. I did know that. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
When they were renovating the ride, they had to move the chessboard, and when they put it back, they're like, "Oh shit, we don't know how the pieces were go." But then someone turned over the board, and there was a taped on the back of it was an illustration of where the pieces needed to be.
Oh wow,
Nice.
that's convenient.
Yeah, it's
Somebody was a planner.
Yeah, exactly. Again, gotta hand it to Mark Davis. That guy knew how to do a sight gag like nobody's business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Have those always been there? And who's Randy again? I asked. Well, that's what we want to know.
Oh, the skeletons? Dad asked. Yeah, they aren't in California, so I see why you wouldn't know them. Randy liked them a lot, though, he said, ushering me past them.
Okay, this is in the early 2000s at least, because they do have the chess-playing skeletons in California now.
Okay.
But they weren't added until they added all the movie stuff to the Pirates ride here.
Okay.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And they are
Okay,
from
so we
California.
definitely have a pretty good sense of time.
So Dad is old.
Dad is old,
In
and
that
they are from
case.
California.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. To be fair, my dad is also old.
Yeah.
My dad's
Yeah,
11 years
so-
older than my mom. So like my dad was in his 50s at the time too. So
Yeah, no, that's fair. My dad's about that old too, actually.
Right.
My parents are pretty old. So yeah. Yeah.
I'm the
What's up?
opposite. My mom had me at 22, so
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah,
Who's
okay.
Randy?
who's
I am.
Oh,
eat
I'm
my
sorry. I'm
ass.
supposed to be reading. Yeah, but who's Randy? I asked again, curious but feeling a pit in my gut.
Do you remember how I got laid off right before the recession?
No, wait a minute.
Hold on.
The recession was 2008.
So the Pirates were
Yes.
added in 2006. Where are we?
Do you remember how I got laid
Wait.
before the recession? I'm sorry. No.
It was Randy. I'm actually gay. In the closet. That's why I
Randy-
keep thinking the twist is.
Oh man, that would have been good if Randy was just like,
I nodded.
Dad lover.
I nodded. We are nearly at the loading dock. The smell of the pirate water was intoxicating, and the smelled like a mixture of chemicals and cologne. I loved it, but I hated it, and it made my head scream.
does it mean you just started screaming because you have a mouth on your head that can scream?
I was like, did your head like have another mouth just like come out of it somewhere and just start screaming and you don't have any control over that?
Mm-hmm. I don't. Gosh, that's such a weird image. Wait, Dave. Whose turn? Hey, David.
I'm sorry, I'm getting confused. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah. Wait. It's a yeah. He helped.
So yeah, we're still trying to figure out who Randy is.
Yeah, we still don't know.
Yeah, and I'm. What is the year?
Yeah, okay.
We don't know.
Okay,
Because he got laid off.
Yeah.
Because like earlier they got onto the ride because he's a minor animator.
I'm wondering if that was supposed to be when I was a kid. We used to do this all the time because he had the job.
I'm gonna go back
Oh.
and.
yeah, but
maybe.
then no. Read the next.
Okay. I'll just read the next paragraph. Yeah, he helped me get my animator job back. He was an older soul, always wore the weirdest pink shirts. He was actually with us on Zion's last Disney trip, Dad continued.
Oh,
So Zion
Okay.
did die.
but he also got the job back. So
Yeah.
they covered it.
Yeah.
After the recession. So this is after 2008.
Yeah.
But does that line up with the skeletons playing chess in California?
No, well, unless he doesn't know that, because the skeletons playing chess are not in the. Wow, I can't believe I'm using this logic. Skeletons playing chess in the California one are not in a queue. They're in the. They're actually in the caves in the ride now. They're in the room where you see the skeletons in the bar.
Oh.
So now there's chess playing skeletons in the bar.
Okay.
They're just among all the other skeletons that are drinking endlessly.
Okay.
Yeah.
He was? I asked.
Yeah, we were talking about things that would get my job back. Pulling something that Walt would do for his brand, and he overheard something you told Zion.
And what was that? I asked, thanking God we were close to the loading dock and we could end this conversation.
He said you had scurried off on your own and that you had been playing with a little girl. She was a kid about Judith's age, maybe younger, and she had a nasty black eye. He said that she told you that she loved this ride more than anything and that somebody hurt her because she was a princess. Dad was pausing to breathe for a moment as we walked down some stairs. We were at the loading dock, but I didn't feel Sage.
Safe. It's supposed to be safe.
Oh, it's safe. It's supposed to be. I didn't feel safe.
Safe.
Even then.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What's happening now? I'm still confused. What's happening?
Okay, hold on. Gotta pull back a little bit.
How can you go down, David?
Okay,
sorry.
How
much is
Not
it?
much more, I think.
Do you want to finish it off and then just...
Yeah, we'll go back and analyze this a little more carefully.
Yeah, because I feel like
let's just power through the rest of it.
Do you want to go to, like, the page break then go back?
That's a good idea.
Let's do that.
Okay, let's do that.
So you're at the top here.
All right. He said that she told you that someone had done something to impress Mr. Disney and that they were about to do it again, Dad said, eating one last bite of a churro and getting ready to get on the ride vehicle.
But hey, I'd say the Haunted Mansion was getting to you. Why you'd like something so weird is beyond me. But hey, if Walt liked it so much.
Okay. He replied as we entered the boat. My breathing was heavy and my headache reached a fever pitch. Still, after the safety monologue, everything was normal. We entered a small cavern area, our boat rocking softly back and forth. Water and treasure filled every corner. Other than the narration, it was relatively quiet. Then we reached the turn right before the big dropped.
Right before the big drop, there was an animatronic fox, and it said, "I'm going to marry your dad, Ryan." Across from the beach area, there's a skeletal pirate steering a wheel in a storm. Usually lightning flashes, and all you would see is the same skeleton. When I passed it, though, I saw a person. Not just any person, but Uncle Zion, holding on for dear life. Then he disappeared without a trace. I let an ear-piercing scream as I felt my head explode with pain. We were thrusted down the slope and crashed into the water. I thought I was drowning. Then when I opened my eyes again, everything was fine. Pirate animatronics were bickering on massive ships, and kids were singing happily. Everything was fine. Kids were singing happily, so the Small World robots are there too now. What the fuck? No, that's not what I'm confused about. I'm literally confused about everything else.
Yeah. This is the part that Dave and I were both like, I don't think we get. I'm getting it more now reading it aloud. Like, okay, so her family members had, like, three of the, Uncle Zion has passed away. That is her uncle. And then there's Judith.
Judith has also passed away.
And then during the recession. But the weird part is, I think it's later on, because the way it's worded is like you scurried off on your own and had been playing with a little girl. She was a kid about Judith's age, maybe younger. So the way it's worded is though she was young when this happened during the recession.
Yeah.
So it does feel like it's modern day, but that would mean he is a much older man. And so the timing on this is odd. Like, we really don't know when the timing of this is. This needs to be made clear by the author. Like, where are we right now? What's the, like, have a set year in your mind or a set time in your mind that this is taking place, and make sure you understand your research, like, and make some parts clear. You don't, I think in this case, more explanation is better. And then also learning to make dialogue free flow a bit better.
Yeah, or have there be some internal monologues that might explain gaps in the...
Yes.
Explaining this is just the way my dad is, you know, something like that.
And, I mean, okay, so she... But then...
So here's where I'm trying to wrap my head around. So Randy was apparently
someone who helped him get his job back.
Yeah.
And that Zion, and it was Zion's last trip, which means
he was there with Zion and he was there with Zion and the dad and Eliza, and while he was talking about pulling something that Walt would do for his brand, he overheard, and this is what the conversation flows really weird, because all of a sudden he's saying that he overheard we all, why doesn't he say we all overheard something that you told Zion at the time? Like, that just seems odd. And then we have this weird detail about clearly a spooky kid.
Yeah, that loved this ride more than anything, and somebody hurt her because she was a princess.
She had a black eye.
Someone had done something to impress Mr. Disney, and they were about to do it again. So I'm assuming someone's trying to kill people?
On Disney's behalf?
I think. I don't know. That's the confusing part.
Oh, wait. It's, he said she told you that someone had done something to impress Mr. Disney and they were about to do it again. Her dad killed somebody because he just said, like, 2 or 3 paragraphs earlier, pulling something that Walt would do for his brand. We were talking about things that would get my job back.
Why would he need to kill someone to become an animator, though?
I don't know. I'm just saying that those seem to be linked, so I'm thinking that's the implication.
Yeah. He said that she told you that someone had, okay, so this ghostly little girl who is a princess is telling Eliza that someone is going to kill someone on Disney's behalf again?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think.
So what I'm understanding, and I might be totally wrong, is that Randy is gay and possibly gay with Uncle Zion, and that Eliza's dad either killed Randy or killed Zion, and that somehow got the job back. Oh. I don't know how the little girl factors in.
Yeah.
I don't either.
And the reason I think Randy's gay,
I think it's supposed to
be because he wore weird pink shirts.
Weird pink shirts, which that is like a total
that's a tell.
Stereotype. That sounds like a tell.
Mm-hmm.
And then with Zion, it's like Dad seems to have some kind of like animosity towards him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm picking up on that. I don't know. I can't point to a reason why I think that.
I can kind of get it, but I think there's just it's the dialogue just does not convey a lot of this very well.
Mm-mm.
Whatever's going on here. I'm having a really hard time picking up any sort of subtext.
Here's a recommendation for any writers. I know this is going to sound creepy, but listen to how people talk. Like, sit at a cafe, sit anywhere, and just listen in on conversations. You'll start to realize there is a way that people talk and how they talk about things. And you will pick up on, like, gossip and whatnot. And use that to your advantage. Like, think, okay, this is how people communicate about, like, family drama or whatever. And,
maybe there will be more details after the page break, but let's see.
Okay.
I think one other thing I would say, just with the time frame of all of this, I don't think it's important that the author indicate to the reader it is currently 2018.
No, but
blah,
at
blah,
least
blah. But
give better hints for
like that, or like just point blank. Like, you as the writer, you need to know what year is it, and if you're going to be jumping back and forth in time, what year is it then? Like, what is that going to mean for the characters that are in that time jump? Like, how old are they? How is that going to change the way they're talking? You know, and like, we're basically like in a flashback, and that's like a compounding thing. And if you're already you already don't have your timeline straight, then it's going to get even more confusing. And I have a feeling that's part of what's causing the issue here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We're almost done with the story.
Yeah.
We could read more and then get a sense.
Okay,
let's do it. Is it my turn?
Yes, it is.
All right. That night in our hotel, I talked to my brother Ryan about the experience. At first, he said that I was probably hallucinating, that the water and the headache was getting to me. I was ready to accept that too, until right before bed when I asked Ryan about Randy.
That loon?
Sound of a loon.
That loon, he said. Yeah, he was an older higher up. Apparently, knew Walt personally and said he could get Dad his job back if he did something for him. Although I think Dad mostly got his job back out of pity, Ryan stuttered. His condition had a way of coloring conversation.
Why is that there? There's no reason for him to have a stutter if it has no importance to the story. Pity? Because we were in California during the recession, I asked?
Okay. What? No. Uncle Zion died after that trip, remember?
Oh, yeah, he did.
Yeah, apparently he died in the hospital, but according to Dad, it was because of something he bought. Dad bought Uncle Zion this water bottle near Splash Mountain and put like a Disney brand powder flavoring, and he was poisoned. Poor guy, what a sucky way to go out. Of course, they wouldn't let it go. They wouldn't let it go to court, so Dad got his job back.
Okay, that answers our question.
Mm-hmm.
He deliberately killed Zion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the first time he had killed somebody, it sounded like.
Yeah, which I think that was conveyed, not the best way it could have been, but it was conveyed.
Yeah.
So that's it, I said to myself. Oh.
Oh, wait, is
Wait,
it
no,
me? Yeah, sorry. Yeah, you were like 7, so it makes sense you don't remember. Well, good night, Eliza. Okay, she was 7. This was during the recession.
Yeah,
So-
she's young. Wow, actually.
So she's like 18 in 2019.
So it is 2019.
So her dad is old.
Her dad's really old.
He's really old.
That, or he
I-
became a dad pretty young.
He's 76. Like, I'm
Well, what if Ryan's a lot older than her?
He could be older.
But
He
that's
could be.
that's not said though.
No, I mean, just,
We're just assuming,
Okay.
and then that's not said. But he could be, if that's the case. Like, if he's known Walt at that age, I'm gonna assume he's was 21. I'm going to just use that as a barrier. 21. Then he'd be 76 or 75 at that point.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
he's a 75-year-old man with an 18-year-old daughter. He had her at 57. That's
He a playa.
that's a really that could be. I mean, and
it can happen.
It could
can
happen. It can happen, but I feel like if that's going to be a case, it's like then that could be explained. It's like my dad's pretty old, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Mhm.
Yeah, I feel like
Like that is a very unusual thing. So
Mhm.
it can happen. It's just unusual.
All right, we got 2 paragraphs left. Let's put a cap in this one.
Okay.
All right. I think, is it you, David?
No, I just read the last one, which is where.
Okay. So
Oh.
it's
Oh, it's my
well,
turn.
good night, Eliza.
It's Kylie and Eli this time.
All right. Before I drifted off, I pulled up a picture of me and my dad grabbing lunch after the ride. It was hard to see through my sweaty black hair, but just behind us was an older gentleman. His smile was wide, almost like a drawing, and his shirt was a bright, sickly pink. I wanted to ignore it. I was repulsed by it, disgusted. And then I read what was on the shirt.
I've always been here.
Oh no!
Spooky,
So
scary.
that's Randolph.
That is
Because the pink shirt.
Randy's also kind of a gay name too. I know that sounds awful. That's an awful thing to say, but like that sounds.
Hi, I'm Randy and I'm gay.
Yeah, that doesn't.
Are you, Kaela? Have you watched Trailer Park Boys? Is that why you're saying that?
No, I don't. No, I actually. This is just based off but I grew up in the 90s, so I feel like
That's fair.
Whenever someone's like, "Ooh, we need someone who's like stereotypically gay," let's name him Randy.
To be fair, we know a gay Randy.
We do know a gay Randy, but he is not okay. He is not like He's not the stereotype at all. So
No, but I'm just saying, to be fair, and because I know he listens to these, hi, Randy. Don't want to
Hi,
be unfair.
Randy.
Shout out to our friend Randy Guerra.
you're awesome, man. But I think the idea behind it is Randy was, I'm assuming, Uncle Zion's.
In order to get your job, you have to kill this person. Why?
But
There's no motive.
But then it seems like Randy's the one telling her dad to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so her dad killed.
So why?
And then he's lurking in the back. I don't know. I'm still confused. I still think this story doesn't have a good logical conclusion. Like, oh no, Randy's lurking and he wears a spooky shirt that says "I've always been here." I'm not.
Well,
I don't.
then
Is he a ghost? Is Randy a ghost?
that's the thing, though, is that then there's the further complication of who is the little girl who is supposed to be like Judith's age, who I'm guessing is supposed to be Judith.
But
Maybe
why would
it
you
is.
say she was around Judith's age though? Like that
Like Judith's age when she died? I mean, because it acted
Right.
like Judith died recently.
So is Judith the other person that her dad killed? Is that why the ghost was there? I don't know.
This is kind of
She's seen the ghosts of a girl that might be Judith, but we don't know where that it fits in. And she's seen the ghost of Uncle Zion, and they're apparently both attached to the Pirates of the Caribbean for some reason.
I think, okay, the story itself is fine in terms of like how, okay, hold on. At the top layer, it's about a girl with her dad having a conversation about family drama while waiting in line at a queue that she is not happy for because she has a headache and is just, you could tell there's already tension between her and her dad because she's probably a gay woman and he's clearly an asshole. And I think maybe that was one of the reasons why that was shown was...
Oh, just to remind, like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, but even then, if Randy... That's the confusing part. If Randy's the guy who's just like, hey, you're gonna kill your uncle there, hun, then why... Would that mean Uncle Zion?
Is Walt... Wait a minute. Hold on.
Is Judith Walt?
Is Walt Randy?
Is Walt purple guy?
Is Walt the animatronic fox?
Yes.
They aren't in... no, Randy, like...
I'm going back to the thing about Randy.
You and your gayisms will beat me. Randy thought that, too.
Is Randy saying you gotta kill people that might be gay?
That's... What? But wait, Judith was like an adopted daughter. Oh, is that the idea?
Adopted daughter? Like, Uncle Zion was gay? I don't...
And so you adopted her?
Well, like, Randy thought that someday gayisms will beat you in a debate. Randy thought that, too. Is this a throwaway? I'm just desperately trying to find meaning to some of this. And there's an implication that, like, oh, because Walt was like this, he wouldn't have liked the way things were now, and if you want to get your job back at the company, do this thing. I don't know.
One thing
I'm sorry. I'm so... I know that things need to be vague sometimes for horror to work, but this is almost like the parts that should convey the horror just leave me kind of going, huh?
Yeah, this is one of those times like where it needs to be explained a little bit more, but in a way that feels more natural.
I feel like I feel like that's not the main problem this story has is conveyance. Mm-hmm. I think there needs to be a better sense of conveyance in the story. I think it could do with some restructuring.
Yeah, like I said, I think at the top layer, the idea of a girl having a tense conversation with her father in line for Pirates of the Caribbean and starting to realize maybe he might have killed someone is actually pretty interesting.
Yeah, no, I agree there.
That is actually pretty interesting. I think it's just like you said, it's the way that's being conveyed, and that just takes time and like some rewriting in terms of okay. But the ghost parts are kind of strange. I don't think... Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Oh, no, you go ahead.
I was going to say, I don't think they're necessary. I mean, I think it's dark enough on its own that her dad is killing people. I don't think we need ghosts.
I agree with that. I think what should be done is really strip it back down to its base layer, like you're saying. Basically, make a sentence, which is, this is about a girl in line in Pirates of the Caribbean with her dad, and her dad might have killed somebody. I think potentially a different way you could have really amped up that horror aspect and the creepy aspect. The Pirates of the Caribbean queue line is creepy.
Yeah, that is true.
It is.
That's a good
And this
environment.
character has already said she doesn't like it. She doesn't like the ride. So I think it's actually okay to have those ghost parts in where she thinks she's seeing stuff. But that needs to be, if you're going to take that route, make that in tandem with the conversation, the very stressful conversation she's having with her dad, that be the suspense that's building, not some weird flashback that takes us out of this place that is creepy, that the character finds creepy, and going back to this other place in time with all these characters who we've never met, who we don't understand. I think it would be very interesting to really just pull this down to her dad, her, and then maybe one other character, and who is potentially the person that her dad has killed. I don't think it's a problem that it's her uncle. I think it would be, if we want to keep the aspect of her being gay, and potentially her uncle being gay, like maybe somehow have have an internal monologue or something that talks about how she has a connection with her uncle in a way that she can't have with her father because of the way that he feels. Mm-hmm. I think this has a lot of potential.
Or even,
no, it does.
It does. It does.
I think, like David said, it's a matter of conveyance and having a conversation flow naturally.
Yeah.
And also trying to have, she's also trying to have a tense conversation. Actually, I thought for a moment, like with the headache, like that it would be hinted like he tried to maybe poison her or something. I don't know.
That would be interesting.
But
because she's gay.
Yeah. That could be an
if that's the theme.
If that's a theme.
I don't even know. We don't know why. It really isn't conveyed well why Randy's like, to get your job back, you need to kill Zion.
Yeah.
That's the part that's not made clear.
I know that
there should be a motive.
Walt has a
what's
connection,
the motive?
but I don't know what the connection, why it has to have a connection with Walt is. That's the confusing part.
Yeah, I almost feel like that's superfluous, or that is for if you wanted to go that route, then don't worry about the ghosts and everything and her being freaked out by the Pirates of the Caribbean. Go more into detail about the research and find some hints into why maybe Walt was a homosexual. I'm not saying that he was, or why he was a homophobic even, like either or, I'm not saying that he is either. I'm not claiming that at all, but I'm saying find bits and pieces of like interviews that he had and really dig into the research. If you're going to bring him up into it, you could go that angle too. I think it's almost like a couple different ideas all pushed together.
Yeah.
And that's maybe what's causing the confusion.
I think there's a little too much yes, Gracie. I think there's a little too much maybe too many different ideas in here too. And I think it's like you don't need that many. I think you can again, the dad killing someone is creepy enough on its own. And then we don't need ghosts. I don't think we need ghosts.
Unless it's all just in Eliza's head. I don't think the vision of her seeing her uncle clinging on for dear life is necessarily a bad thing.
No.
Some of the other stuff, I think the stuff about the flashbacks were a little weird.
Yeah.
With her meeting this girl that could be Judith, but might not also be Judith.
Yeah, that's a weird
conveyance. Yeah. That's all I'm saying. Okay.
What about you, Eli?
Well, I was just looking back over it because I was trying to kind of make more sense of it. I'm thinking this is one of those stories that suffers from trying to be subtle and ending up being too subtle, because there are certain things that I can point at that I'm like, I think this is what they're trying to do, but there's only like one piece of evidence for it, so I'm not sure.
Yeah.
The main thing that I'm getting, just like glancing over it again, I'm thinking they're trying to imply that Eliza and Ryan's dad is abusive, and that's why Ryan has a stutter. And I'm wondering if that's why the ghost girl also had a black eye.
Okay.
It's just like there's little stuff like that seems like it kind of doesn't go anywhere, and I think that's because each of those things needs like one more thing, like one more piece of evidence that's like...
And who's always right was another thing that the dad said.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the tough part is too, like most writers, they're let's be honest, in English classes, be more subtle. You don't have to explain everything. And that as a result, this could lead to tricky things like, hey David, what's the one story that got brought up in almost every single English class?
Hills Like White Elephants by Hemingway.
Yes. And that is basically the definition of, look how subtle I am. I am giving the bare minimum. And you're supposed to guess. And as a result, writers are believed, we have to be as subtle as possible. And it's like, no, there's a good balance.
That's not implying that this writer was trying to do that necessarily. I think the confusion for me just stems from, I don't know what we're supposed to take away from this story necessarily.
I think
other than the idea that, like, it's a daughter discovering her dad might have killed people while in line for Pirates of the Caribbean.
I think that's the thing. Writer needs to figure out, what does this... Okay, what's
the through line?
Yeah, what's the through line?
What's the Q line through this... What's the through line through this Q line?
And what does the writer want us as the readers to take away from this? And... Because
it's like, is this a ghost story? Is this a more realistic horror of just discovering that your dad might be a killer? Is it the horror of, like, realizing that what seemed normal about your family is a lot more sinister than it was on the surface? Like, it's somewhere, it's like all three of these things are happening at the same time, because there's the ghost story element to it as well. And I think the one in the middle is the one that I think is the one I'm most compelled by.
Is the dad.
It's the dad learning that the dad might have killed people. Well, there's also this kind of idea of a conspiracy about the company. Like, hey, this Walt's ideals need to be preserved. And it's like, oh no, there's like sort of that angle. I'm like, what are Walt's ideals? It's what Walt would do for the company or the brand or something. And I'm like, so is this a big conspiracy cover up also too? So, like, pick one thing and focus on that one thing. And if you want to sprinkle in other things, yeah, but not like 4 or 5 different elements, because it feels like that's all of those things trying to come together into one story. So since the writer asked, that's kind of my main criticism of the story. And I think the reason it didn't get further is because that sense of confusion kept me from maybe promoting it higher, despite the fact that, yeah, I think it has a solid basis. I'm with Kaela. It has a solid basis for a story.
There's good ideas in here. I loved it. I actually do enjoy the descriptions of Pirates of the Caribbean. They're good descriptions, and it's like, yeah, that's realistic. And even, like, I know we made jokes about, like, well, minor animators went, well, the audience doesn't have to know that. That's a common thing. Or that could be a common belief. We don't know that, so that's fine. If her dad's job as a minor animator can get her past cute lines, then great. That's fine. I can easily believe that. I just don't, because I have the background.
Yeah,
that I do.
You're dealing with us.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like those parts. Yeah, that's realistic. Attention between her dad and a daughter, that's realistic too. I just think also it is a matter of, like you said, conveyance and sticking with a certain idea that you want to go with, and try listening to people's conversations and have the conversation flow a little better.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, find a friend and read it out loud. Like, literally read the dialogue to each other and see how that feels. Like, is this what people would actually say to one another?
So that said, why don't we all give this one our freshness rating and call it a day?
I am gonna give it a decade out of always being here.
I'm gonna give it a skeleton's playing chess, but where? We don't know.
Dang it, you took mine.
I will give it a pirate out of the Caribbean.
Just one of the pirates.
Just one.
I will give this 10 pounds of Dole Whip.
Yes! I am so down for that.
All right. Hey, thank you both, Eli, Kylie. Thank you both for joining us for this episode. It's been a little while, but hey, where can other people hear your stuff, just in case they don't know?
Yeah, thank you for having us. This was really fun. And we have 2 YouTube channels. The one that I mostly run is called Animal Fact Files. And if you like animals, 3 times a week, every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday, we release a new video. It's about like 4 minutes long, approximately, about a different animal. So you can, we are almost at 300 episodes. We're right there. So there's plenty to learn.
Oh, yeah.
And then the other, it's also a YouTube channel. It's called Cinema Nippon, and we talk about Japanese movies. Sometimes just kind of reviews, but more often we try to do more of like cultural or historical analysis of like things that you can learn from movies.
Which is fucking great, by the way.
What's that?
Which is great, by the way. I'm trying to tell people very subtly.
Well, and we have not done any Disney movies, of course. Yeah,
those Japanese
big
Disney
shock.
movies.
But we have done entire series that both finished last year of all of Hayao Miyazaki and Isao Takahata's movies for Studio Ghibli.
And we've also done quite a few well-known Japanese horror movies.
That's true. That is also true.
There's the real tie-in right there.
Mm-hmm. You thought we were on Animusings again, didn't you?
No, we just did a Disney story.
I was actually going to say, as an additional plug, if you want to hear Eli and Kylie on our other podcast, Animusings, we all got together to talk about The Lion King recently. So by the time this episode goes up, that episode will definitely be out. So yeah, go give that a listen at benviewnetwork.com/animusings, or wherever you download your podcasts.
And listen to other stuff on the Creative Horror Network, like Darkly Lit and Midnight Marinara and Trick or Track and fun stuff like that.
And if you want to submit stories for us to read here on Undercooked Analysis, you can email us at midnightmarinara@gmail.com. You can also, if you are a patron, you could submit a story that way. Patrons of the podcast get priority when it comes to us reading their stories. I am keeping a little bit of a queue of stories as they come in, so we'll be answering that. I want to thank, I do want to thank our anonymous writer who wished to remain anonymous for submitting the story and allowing us to critique it. And hopefully the feedback will be helpful in the future. And if not, well, you asked for it. So,
Wow.
No,
Wow, David.
Look,
nah, that was mean.
like
I know.
said,
They literally did ask for it. They asked for the critique.
It's true.
you definitely have good potential. This person as a writer has definitely a lot of good potential. And plus, we did give a lot. This is written for a contest, which is always tricky. Let's be honest.
And speaking of contests, well, soon results soon for the other thing that we did with Alan, the creepypasta, intentionally bad creepypasta writing challenge. Soon. That should be very exciting. I will have to check in with him, though, of course, about when we're going to really get that off the ground. All right. Excellent. So, man, me ending these formally takes a lot of the kind of oomph out of when we just end on a good joke of some sort. So,
Somebody say something, like potato.
Potato?
Potato.
I'm a potato.
You are a potato.
Yes.
Wait.
Yes, I am.
Well, I guess if you don't like that, you can eat my ass. Good evening, intrepid listeners. This is the Pasta Shade, the host of Midnight Marinara, and this podcast is part of CreativeHorror.com, a network of podcasts and creators working together to build a constructive community of horror fans. For more content like this, visit us at CreativeHorror.com.